bosom of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
Right, Jupiter, the defender of strangers. So they began calling themselves strangers. Strangers because they weren't. Because they didn't have what? They didn't have pink flesh. This being the beginning of the love of the so-called white man. The love of skin cancer. The love of sunburns.
Of wickedness.
The love of wickedness. Look at the way that the world is mourning, man, under the rulership of the so-called white man. This place is destroyed. This ain't natural. Just like the brothers were talking about, the pollutions, man, and the brother was talking about. Matter of fact, if you do go into something underground, anything that's underground, you have a high potential to die, and that's why you have to wear legally. You have to wear a monitor to monitor the air when you go anywhere that's under the earth, because all of these unnatural substances which are breaking down on the planet Earth are causing pollutions and chemicals. Go ahead, brother.
As they did desire that dwelt in the place, the coming in of the mischief of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, which we have a great example of.
Judith 5:17. Go ahead, bro. We're gonna break that down, that verse.
Come. Go ahead, you go ahead, bro. I was just saying that's a sore right there. That's a grievous mischief right there. Verse 3. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling.
Right. This was great, grievous, and sore for the people, because they understood what their power was. We understood who Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai was. We understood who we were as a people, man. And to see this begin to be polluted, really mainly the elders. You know, the younger generation began to adopt this. Go ahead, bro. This spirit has always been on Jake, man, because even the Native Americans, if you talk to a lot of them, if you go into Canada, they're destroyed up there, man. Those so-called Native Americans, because the reason why, because they sold the little piece of land that was given them, the little piece of pot, their reservations, which really are nothing, worse than the ghettos. They don't have that no more. They sold those, and what they did with their money that they got bought out by the government was they bought those casinos up there. You go up there, man, and those Gadites are destroyed, man. They don't know their right hand from their left hand.
And the best part is, the ones that own the casinos aren't even the original bloodline of the Gadites. It's those ones that got raped in.
Yep.
I'm talking about the Esau that literally had him some good strange cookie about 10 generations ago.
That's right, man. That's right.
Because they did a Assassin's Creed with Connor. His dad, and that's another thing. But perceived, his dad was a so-called white man from Europe, and his mom was a so-called Native American. So in today's society, we would say he's mixed.
Well, that's a defiling of the temple.
That's definitely right there.
Yeah.
And then, like the brother said, you got these Gadites that prosper from getting all these casinos, but bet 9 times out of 10, those are the same ones whose forefathers go back to Esau, and they tracked it too.
Yeah, because man, when I went over there, those Gadites were so destroyed. But the main point that I'm taking here is a lot of these reservations, like the Lakotas in North and South Dakota, Esau has been trying to buy them out for a long time, but they don't do it, and it's not really because they're hard-headed. It's because they don't want to lose their heritage. Because all these even the over here in Colorado, the Navajo reservation that you have, they're destroyed over there too. Most of them actually follow this image here.
Or the name.
Or the name. They don't even know they barely even can speak that language. You know, at least those Lakotas, they could speak that language fluently up there. But you know, that's the thing. They don't want to lose their heritage. Just like just like the brother just read, it was vexing to us to see what was happening to the temple, because we were beginning to lose our heritage.
And that's actually why Lakota went through what they did, because they did lose their heritage.
Yep, some of that too.
But they changed it for another heritage.
That's right, man.
Because you know how there's division in those tribes, man.
Yep, yeah, there's a lot of division. And they believe in some weird shit too, man. They believe that a homosexual is double spirited. They have two spirits.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Close in their body. And like you said, it's not the fact that they're hard-headed, but they're trying to hold on to their heritage, which really is nothing. Like, they're not trying to hold on to their original heritage.
Right.
It's
right,
the defamed
it goes back
one.
deeper than that, because at the end of the day, in this very beginning, we already lost our heritage. And more so, and this was really more so on the southern kingdom, here what we're reading in the book of Maccabees, because the northern kingdom was already led into captivity and lost their heritage in the Assyrians. That's why you have the adoption of Assyrian Hebrew, which is the text that's shown today as Hebrew. But where you find the oldest form of Hebrew is right next to us here in New Mexico, because they held on to a little bit of it. But regardless of it, man, at the end of the day, according to prophecy, we would return unto our power and this place would be destroyed. And we're gonna get to the reason why this place is gonna be destroyed when we're cleaving unto this power. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles,
Right.
who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy place.
Right. You Edomites were doing all that you can
Places.
to abominate the temple, putting all the abominations that you can in the temple. Go ahead, brother.
And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things.
Right, that altar was filled with profane things, and this was the beginning of the temple being destroyed spiritually. Now you have the spiritual temple coming back together, which is made up of bodies of men, which is what you see right here.
You know, I do cleaning, and when you're getting a contract for a church, they actually call that the sanctuary. Where the so-called pastor stands, that's called the sanctuary.
And then,
where the
like you
congregation sits and all that.
Like you said, this is the book of Maccabees. So around this time, there was no Cesare Borgia. That image goes back all the way to Serapis Christus. That original image, who they call God now, that they have up in the Sistine Chapel, goes back to Serapis Christus. Because that's the original definition of the temple. That's where you get the word Christians from. It was those Israelites that were like, no, I worship Serapis. I'm a Christian. I'm not an Israelite. I'm a Christian. And they try to bring that into the home and say, no, we're not worshiping Yahushua anymore. We're gonna worship Serapis.
That's the profane part.
That's the profanity.
It's turning you away from the truth.
And then that evolved all the way down to, like you said, Cesare Borgia, no, what you call him, Jesus. Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, so you could see how defiled this place is, man. How defiled our culture is and everything within it.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
I mean, literally what I just talked about. You have this going about of where you can't worship Yahushua anymore. The Sabbath day, you don't get that off anymore. We don't want you celebrating the Passover. As a matter of fact, if you claim you're a Jew and don't claim Roman citizenship, you'll be put to death. That's how they put our people in subjection.
And it's going to be the same way with that chip. What's that chip say? I've done that scripture of the chips. Revelation 13.
No, like you said, you don't want this chip?
No.
Okay, we got a fresh guillotine right over there.
I think.
And then they're gonna be telling that to the pops and the mom and pops are like, think of the kids, honey. The kids, we can't put them through the guillotine, honey.
Revelation 13.
It's too much. No, it's not, because if you understood death, reincarnation, you would realize that death is way better than the chip. Way better than the chip.
Yeah, go ahead and read it. 16, 14, 16.
This is out of the book Revelations 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
God. So, of course, they wouldn't let you, nobody would want a tattoo like this on their forehead or their hand. So now they made the chip. And in fact, that man that invented that put out a video declaring that he didn't want to have no part of that, but that he knew that that was coming out to be the mark of the beast. It's intentionally done. You know?
But what did he do? He didn't choose death, the righteous honor. He chose to make the chip.
But yeah, well, when he said when he, you know, you don't know man's heart, but he said when he found out, he left the program. But either way, that chip is the same thing as this being done. Go ahead.
You're right, man.
If you want to keep reading on that,
Con.
on verse 5. Chapter 6, verse 5. Go ahead and get that up. Read that again.
This is out of the book Revelation 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads.
Right, the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. That's going to be established as mandatory on the public, and if you don't do it, you're going to go into a FEMA camp.
Con.
You know, and you're going to get it either way, or you're going to get death, or you're going to be on the run, and you better hope, you know, the Most High is merciful to you. But that's
really, you know, if this place is in such turmoil, a lot of you people are going to be running to the FEMA camps.
That's true.
To get that government support, because you all throughout history, the first thing that people rely on is the government, and that's the problem. You don't rely to their power. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, they rely on the government.
Because it's substitute.
And that's why Christianity is a profane thing, because they make you think that the Lord's going to deliver you from a bad storm. He's the one bringing the storm upon you. You know? Go ahead and get that verse 5 up in that second passage.
This is 2 Maccabees 6 and 5. The altar also was filled with profane things.
Right, and you know what the altar also represents? Is where the Most High dealt with man. You know, the man had to bring his best of his hurt, his hard work, his blood, his sweat, his tears, and put it on the altar as a sacrifice. That's all he had to give, because that's all he had. But then they bring profane things and they start to put like filthy pigs and all this. They defile your effort. You know what I'm saying? To even have a equal communion with the Lord, because He's so mighty. The Lord, He built this altar so that you could have a dealing with the Most High.
And if I may say, just like you said, He savors the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So basically, like it says, you're sacrificing your blood through that animal. That's literally what the sacrifice used to mean. It meant something. But when people started saying, "Oh, I'll just get a pig," or "I'll buy a sacrifice," they profaned it.
Or, you know, I'm broke this week. They actually had the money on them.
Lying to themselves and the Most High.
But that's why they went with the Greeks, the Romans, because the Romans and the Greeks, they built ways for them to ignore that. That's why they got Christianity. That's their escape hatch. Have you ever noticed they got these buildings, they always got exit doors? And you'll get in trouble if the exit door is locked.
Yeah, they need, I think, two paths of egress.
Right, they're so terrified that all day long they gotta have an exit. The plane got exits. You know? They're gonna jump. You know what I'm saying? And that's just retarded, but that's what they offered to the Israelites in captivity, just like they offer them now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, because naturally Israel's always had to worship something.
Right. It's in us too.
Yeah, they took advantage of
that's
our
faith.
natural zeal.
Keep going on that up.
Con.
So they defiled the altar.
Which the law forbiddeth.
Meaning we were supposed to keep the altar pure. Even when the priests, before they entered, they would bathe and oil themselves and have clean white linen, you know, just to enter into there.
Yep. And even if when a woman was on her period, she couldn't walk inside of the temple.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if she was on her period and she touched you, you couldn't walk inside the temple. Verse 6, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
Right? Like now, you can't keep the Sabbath. The Sabbath isn't on Saturday or Sunday. It goes throughout the week, depending on the moon of the month. You know, and your job ain't gonna let you take this day off for a month and then say, hey, it changed, so now I gotta get this day off.
Hey, I gotta have random days off, and I need weeks off for holy weeks, for holy convocation. I need this month off here and there.
Right. So the easy persuasion they use like that, they're gonna also do with this chip. Can you get that one, Tim? Keep going with that. Because like I said before, the Lord chose. Well, you can get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15.
This is out of the book Revelations 13, verse 16. You want me to go to 18?
I'll just keep going. We'll walk it out.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Which means the RFID chip is coming, and you're going to take it or you're going to take death. Go ahead, huh?
And that no man might buy or sell.
I mean, you ain't going to be able to have a job or do any business with currency in this society. So how are you going to feed your family? How are you going to pay your rent? Go ahead, huh?
Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here,
which is that's what this chip does. This chip gives you the reputation of the beast. Right. It's like if a man loved a wife and he gave her a black card, you know, unlimited.
Oh yeah, there's no limit, baby.
No. So it's the same persuasion that the Greeks